hopefully my brain cooperates. So let's go ahead and get the timer going and see what we got. Oh, almost forgot again. Hey, what's up everybody, it's S. So I'm out at the range today to do a little bit of running and gunning. And by running and gunning, I mean I'm basically going to be moving around instead of standing still. And I'm going to be using my trusty Glock 19X, which you've seen before. But if you're new here and you haven't seen this setup, I basically have it set up with a TLR1 light. I have it on a Hollow Sun, I think 507C. I ended up pulling this one off of one of my old Glocks. And it actually co-witnesses perfectly with the suppressor height sights. I've got asked that a couple of times. So yes, it does co-witness perfect. I do have it sitting on a plate. I think it's a CNC precision plate. You know, don't quote me on that. Check Optics Planet, that's where I got mine. I think it was like 50 bucks, but actually I probably shouldn't even told you where I got it or how much I spent, because this video will probably end up getting flagged. But that's another discussion for another day. You know, we're not here for a pity party. We're here to actually get some shots off downrange. And I want to show you my range in case you haven't seen any of my other videos. So this is how I have it set up today. I have a couple of silhouette targets with some splatter targets on them. And then there is some plates over here that I'm gonna go ahead and try to hit with my Glock. Couldn't hit them with my BCM, but that's nothing new. And if you didn't see the other video, let me give you a quick 360 of the actual range. Love this range, by the way. I try to come early on Friday mornings when it's not a lot of people here. That way I can record and not really be too intrusive or, you know, get on anybody's nerves. So let's go ahead and get set up and get to shooting. So I've actually already been at the range today. I was testing out my BCM 11.5, but I'm not gonna talk too much about it because whenever I seem to show this, my videos get flagged. So hopefully just talking Glock will make the YouTube algorithm happy and I won't actually get flagged. So I am gonna go ahead and plug those holes up, or possibly just put new targets on altogether so that I can see where I'm hitting. And again, by running and gunning, when I mentioned it, I'm basically just gonna be moving around. So normally when I shoot, I'm standing in one spot, I fire at a target, then I maybe like, you know, probably just turn and, you know, shoot at another target, maybe turn back. But realistically, that's not probably gonna be how it happens in the real world, because if something was to ever actually happen, I would probably be moving away. More than likely, I'd be moving back, or I'd be moving side to side, trying to take cover, etc. And two, I'll be able to get some extra cardio in, so to make me feel better about my cheat meal that I'm absolutely gonna have when I leave the range. So let me go ahead and plug these holes up and I'll get to shooting. Oh, and I also got this timer that I'm gonna work with. So I wanted something to show me or give me cues of when to go instead of just, you know, telling myself to go. And I'm not looking to try to be like, you know, John Wick or anything, you know, super quick and, you know, under a second or anything like that. But I do want to actually practice with something that gives me a cue instead of me just going when I'm ready. So I got this off of, actually I'm not going to talk about where I got it or how much it costs because I don't want my video to get flagged. So let me go ahead and plug these holes up, set you guys down and get to shooting. All right, we're all set up now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and shoot at the left target. Then I'm going to move over to the right target. Then I'm going to move back over to the left target again, probably shooting 2 rounds in each just to see, you know, what ends up happening or how I end up shooting. Okay, unfortunately, my first round didn't go as planned because I forgot to move around. I pretty much just stood in one spot like I normally do. I guess, you know, bad habits are hard to break. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it again, but I'm not gonna show you that other footage because it was absolutely atrocious. So I'm gonna go ahead, again, start at the left. I'm gonna move over to the right if my brain lets me remember, shoot a couple rounds, and then I'm gonna come back over to the left side. Again, hopefully my brain cooperates. So let's go ahead and get the timer going and see what we got. Oh, almost forgot again. So not too bad. I think these pliers were definitely obviously me shooting, but not too bad for my first time moving around. You know, I'm not expecting much, except, you know, that's pretty bad. Obviously having a plier up here when I was not aiming for the headshot. I was aiming down here, but you know, we got to practice to get better. Round 2. All right, so much of the same, but one thing to note about running out here at this range is obviously with all the bullets on the ground, I actually slipped there at the end. So hopefully that doesn't happen in real life, but you never know. Oh, actually, let me show you how I did that round. I think more of the same. Probably should have plugged the holes so I could see what's actually happening, but I'm running out of time. So we're just gonna have to run with it. Actually, I'm gonna stop being lazy. I am gonna plug it. And one thing I do need to do is find out where to put or find a better spot to put this timer, because it's kind of heavy and it's kind of sliding around, but I don't feel like stopping and trying to figure that out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and run it, and let's see. Yep, we are good to go. Okay. Okay, that was absolutely atrocious. Seems like I'm getting worse. And one thing I do need to practice or make sure I'm aware of is keep my hand off the trigger as I was moving. I noticed when I first made my first move to the left that my finger was kind of halfway off the trigger, but you know, gun was pointed down range, safe direction and all that good stuff, but I still need to make sure that I have my finger off the trigger as I'm making moves. Let's go ahead and do round 4. See how this is doing. And I love this holster, by the way. This is the tier 1 concealed, I think it's MSP. It's a universal holster that works off of the light, the TLR1. So absolutely love this so far, but at some point I may get a dedicated holster because I don't like as much play as this has. You know, for the range it's going to be fine, but you know, if I was actually doing anything else, I probably want something, you know, a little more tight or a little more smooth. But let's go ahead and get round 4 in. Why exactly I did that, I have no idea, but it was pretty fun. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can actually hit this green target, this green plate. I was not able to hit it with my AR, but we shall see if I can hit it with my pistol. Okay. Oh, that was definitely it. Okay, so I can hit it, just not with my AR-15. All right, so back over to these targets. I'm gonna actually pretty much do the same thing. I only have a little bit of ammo left. Well, I actually do have a lot of ammo. I have a big brick of 350, but I don't feel like walking back to my truck to get my knife to cut it open, and I'm running out of time. So let's just go ahead and finish out these last couple of mags and call it a day. And we're out. Damn it. All right, so that didn't necessarily go as planned, but that's okay. We can go ahead and shoot up our last magazine. All right, so not half bad. I'm honestly getting tired, so I'm glad I'm getting ready to leave so I can go have my cheat meal. So we'll just do the last couple one-handed. And we're out. All right, so that's it for today. I think everything went pretty well with, you know, shooting my Glock 19. Next time I'll probably practice with my EDC, but the first time running and gunning and reholstering a bunch, I wanted to make sure I was able to, you know, to put this, you know, to the outside of me, just in case there were any mishaps, and there wasn't. Now I will say that, you know, the Glock 19X is probably my favorite Glock, and I already know what you guys are gonna say, that every time I bring out one of my Glocks, I say it's my favorite, but
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
But no, it's honestly a great pistol. I love the grip on it. The 19 is perfect as well. It's a little bit smaller, obviously, if you know, but I love having this extra grip on the 19X. I'm thinking about getting a Glock 45 and making that like my test gun where I put different products on it, or maybe Gucci it out or something like that. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I also want a CZ Shadow 2, I think the new carry model, but those are kind of expensive and I don't have any money for that right now, so probably not gonna do that. And if I get a Glock, another Glock, I mean, that's look half the price of one of those. I could also sell a couple of my other firearms to trade up and get something like that, but probably not gonna do that anytime soon. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Again, the range trip was, I think it was a success. Again, I'm not an expert, I'm not a marksman by any means. I can't even tell if this focus is so bright out here. But overall, for moving around my first day running, I'm actually drenched, I'm tired, I'm hot, but you know, I was able to get shots off and, you know, acquire the target with my red dot and shoot fairly quickly. I didn't actually even pay attention to the times. I was mainly just focused on using the beep as a cue to go. In the future, I'll probably look at maybe, you know, tracking those times just to see if I'm getting faster. or whatnot. But that's all I got for today. It's very, very, very hot in Texas. So I'm about to go have my cheat meal. Well, first I'm about to clean up, load up the truck, and have my cheat meal.